So now that we're working on fitting up the handle, next thing I've got to do is file these two shoulders so that they match. Now the trick here is usually I would use a file guide for this, but there's not really any way to do a file guide for a full tiny integral like this. So it's just kind of how steady are your hands. I have a hump right here that's going to cause me problems, and I've got to do something about that before we move on. So I'm going to have to figure out, if I'm going to do more of these, I'm going to have to figure out a better way to do this bolster. This is going to be a problem. I've got a hump. I've got a hump in the bolster right here, right in the middle. Never done a bolster this way before, and I don't particularly care for it. I have to build myself some kind of a fancy jig for the next one like this. What I'm going to do is blacken the bolster with the Sharpie to make sure that I'm only taking meat off in the middle. And you see how, darn it. You're going to get seasick if I keep doing it like that. See how there's still Sharpie here and here because I'm taking out that middle hump. That's it too. Yeah, that's pretty dead flat. Now we do the same thing on the other side. And the trick here is not only to get them flat and parallel, but even. Yay. All right. I think we're getting somewhere there. Now, next step is to lay out our handle material on there. Now the front of the block there has a 90 degree, and in order for this to work, I need to take the front of the block off at an angle like that. So, and we'll just step over to our grinder and do that very thing. Alright. So, see how our block of wood fits on there. Got a decent joint at the front there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a thin piece of this same red liner, and I'm going to glue it to the front there. Now I'm just going to do that with super glue, just to keep that liner going. Gives it a really good look. Now, see how there's, I don't know if you can see it even, but there's no gap here, but at the front there's a gap. That's because that is not a 90-degree angle. It's a little bit out. So what we're going to do now is relieve the back side there so that it can just tilt in. Alright, so I've missed a little bit here, but not too much. I've got both pieces of my my handle block fitted up. I've got the red liners, and I've got a red liner on the end here. Just realized you can't see, Chad. Hold on a second. Is that better? That looks better. Alright, we've got the red liners on the end, and you see I've got the angle in there for the front of the bolsters. So now what we're going to do is mix up some glue, and the way I'm going to attach these, it's kind of goofy, but I have this funky clamp here with a slot drilled in, or cut in the end. Well, that sits there on the end of the knife. See how that sets? And then this comes up here and pushes against the bottom of that scale. See how that all works? And then I'll clamp it from the side with with another clamp. So it's a big mess of a production that makes me really wish I could grow a couple extra hands, but I can't. So we just kind of do the best we can. Move you guys. Sorry about that. Right, seriously? There we go. To where you can see what we're doing here. Okay. Alright, so we got. And I am going to put pins in this, but I'm going to put the pins in afterwards. If I tried to do all of this, you know, 6-hand kneading stuff and set pins at the same time, I'd just be begging for trouble. So, Make sure you get glue all the way up the face of the bolster and right in that joint there in the corner.
I hope hearing these live cuts will generate your interest in catching a live show with us in Decatur. Well, we have tons of neighborhood bars and restaurants and shops, and if not with us, we'll catch a live show somewhere.
Make sure you've got that tang completely covered.
Shalom Aberly mixes and records the songs from the attic. Troy Beezer from Crawford Media Studio.
You don't want a lot of glue on there. You don't want to, sop it in glue. But you got to make sure that the whole thing is glued. Alright, so we got the one side glued up and mixing the glue, epoxy here, for the other side. Sometimes with this stuff you can't really tell until after it's all dried up and you grind it back clean and go, oh, well, that was ugly. So, we'll see. Looks good so far. It's been about half an hour, and the epoxy has kind of set, but not really. Again, it doesn't truly cure for about 24 hours. But I'm going to go ahead and work on it. As long as I'm gentle, it'll be fine. And don't get it hot. Heat is the killer of epoxy. First thing I'm going to do is trim the scale material back to the tang. So. So now that I've got my scales just roughly trimmed back to the tang, I'm actually going to take some meat out of the finger side here, but we'll do that in a minute. First thing I'm going to do here is scribe the center, and I'm going to go ahead and set my pins. So I'm going to do 2 1/8" stainless pins and 1 mosaic pin. I don't do mosaic pins hardly ever, but on this one it'll be fun. This is the pin placement that I've decided on. It puts it, I like it. Now we're going to go ahead and take this over to the drill press over here and drill some holes. Because I don't want to destroy the wood on the other side, I need something sacrificial to set under this so that when my drill bit pops out the other side, it doesn't bugger it up. So I got just a little piece of scrap. That's bloodwood right there. Set that right there. And turn this up some. Make sure that's good and flat. Really plug up there with just one. Turn right to the back one now, because I'm using 1/8" stainless pin for the punch stainless pins. And then 3/16 is my mosaic pin. lot of people would normally set this pin. Okay, so got our pinholes right there. Now, a lot of people would normally just go ahead and put the pins in, glue them in, and shake it all finished and be done. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shake it without the pins. I drill pins now because it's still a square block. It makes life a lot easier for getting a straight hole through the block. But I'm going to go ahead and shake the handle now without pins because I want to recess the pins and dome the heads so that there's no chance of that one shrinking, leaving a sharp edge of pin in your palm as you cut it. So, we're going to go ahead and start shaping our handle. I prefer to do most of my shaping with a contact tool instead of a flat button. It's more efficient. My belt. It's more efficient. It stores up the trace less heat.